rap game is in a wild spot right now, and artists been getting locked up left and right. Today, we're breaking down what's going on with some of the hottest rappers who are sitting in jail right now. Let's get straight to it. K-Flock barely started dropping music in 2020, but he quickly became one of the hottest new rappers in the Bronx drill scene. At first, he was just a hype man for his homies DaBaby and B-Love, but when Flock started rapping, people went crazy. He started racking up millions of views in no time with tracks like Is You Ready and Being Honest. But in December 2021, he got tied up in a situation that might have him in prison for life. On December 16th, Flock walked by a barbershop when a dude named Oscar Hernandez stepped out of the shop and followed him. And that's when Flock allegedly pulled out his burner and killed him. Flock got hit with first-degree murder and has been in jail ever since. Back in March, he gave his fans some good news when he posted a photo of himself on IG and captioned it, "All is good. Don't believe the blogs or the internet. Everything trendy. Forever DOA." Flock didn't get released on bond like some fans thought would happen, but the news broke that he hired a famous lawyer named Jeffrey Lichman. Lichman has defended other rappers like The Game and Fat Joe, and he even defended El Chapo in court. He says he's ready to fight to the death for K-Flock, and apparently, he thinks they have a good chance of beating the case and trial. Hopefully, Flock gets the situation handled fast and can get back to the music. If he comes out soon and starts dropping hits again, he could go right back to the top of the drill scene. But if the trial drags on for years, his fans might end up moving on by the time he gets released. HotBoii is a rapper from Florida known for tracks like Switcheroo and Life of a Dog. But he's even more famous for his violent beef against YNW and his AFNF crew. HotBoii and YNW was cool back in the day, but now they both facing decades in prison after allegedly turning Orlando into a war zone. Both sides lost people to the beat, and YNW almost got killed in 2020 when a shooter pulled up on them in a mall parking lot. The violence got so bad that the police created a special RICO investigation called Operation X-Force to bring down HotBoii, his 438 crew, YNW, and AFNF. The cops found out the gangs were smuggling guns, drugs, and money into the city, and over the course of 9 months, they gathered enough evidence to bring them down. 34 members of 438 and AFNF got booked on RICO charges, including HotBoii and YNW. HotBoii was originally let out on bond, but it was revoked after he was caught with a gun. His lawyer was able to get the gun charge dropped, but HotBoii is still facing 32 years in prison if he's convicted. He told fans he'd be home soon, but the judge probably won't give him another chance to post bond. YNW has already been sentenced to 7 years for identity theft and a weapons charge. He stole someone's identity and used it to get a COVID PPP loan that was worth $10K, but it didn't take long for the cops to trace it back to him. 7 years ain't too bad, but YNW could end up doing more than that. He's still facing a second-degree murder and racketeering charge, but he could have way more time added onto his sentence if he's found guilty. YNW and HotBoii was both popping off in the rap game before they started beefing, but they threw it all away over street beef, and now it could be decades before they get out. YNW Melly started rapping in 2015 and founded the YNW crew with his homies Jxmmi, Sack Chaser, and Portland a year later. He started popping off with tracks like Virtual and Murder on My Mind. But right after he blew up, Melly allegedly murdered Jxmmi and Sack Chaser, and he's been in jail since 2019. In October 2018, Portland dropped off Jxmmi and Sack Chaser at a hospital and claimed they got shot in a drive-by. The situation was quiet for a few months, but when police started investigating, they realized that Portland's story didn't line up with the evidence. The police believe Melly and Portland set the scene up to look like a drive-by, but Melly was the one who actually pulled the trigger. Melly never got the option to post bond, and the 3 years he spent behind bars have been rough. Back in 2020, he lost recreation and visiting rights and had to spend time in solitary confinement. Then in August, Melly's lawyer requested that the jail let him out to get dental care. Melly has permanent grills installed that need a lot of upkeep. Since he's been in jail, he can't take care of them. According to his lawyer, Melly has an abscess in his lower jaw that is creating extreme pain and chronic infection. But the judge wasn't trying to hear it, and he denied the request. Back in April, Melly and his lawyer were accused of planning a jailbreak. According to the sheriff's office, Melly and another dude planned on escaping by having his lawyer sneak in 2 handcuff keys. The jail found out, and when they searched the other dude's cell, they found a 6-inch shank, couple of razor blades, 2 lighters, plus some pills. Melly could catch more charges for the alleged escape plan, but he's already facing life in prison. The prosecution has all kinds of evidence to bring against him, and they allegedly even have tags proving that Melly authorized a hit on his own mom. The trial's supposed to begin later this year, so tap in for updates, because this situation could get wild. Pooh Shiesty came into the game back in 2019 and went viral from the jump. In 2020, he signed the Gucci's 1017 label, then popped off like crazy with the track Back in Blood with Lil Durk. Shiesty was becoming one of the hottest new rappers in the game, but then he got arrested for a shooting that went down in Florida. According to the prosecution, Shiesty linked up with some dudes to buy codeine, weed, and sneakers, but the deal went sour and Shiesty ended up shooting one of them before smashing off. The dude he shot survived, but the cops linked Shiesty to the crime immediately because he dropped a Louis V bag with $40K in cash on the ground when he fled the scene. Police matched the serial numbers of $100 bills Shiesty was flexing on Instagram to the cash left on the scene. He was originally facing 8 years, but in April, a judge sentenced him to 5 years in prison. When the news broke, Shiesty shouted out his fans and wrote, "The biggest. I just want to thank all my loved ones, supporters, and fans for holding me down during these hard times. I wish I could be coming home to y'all today, but this could have been way worse. I will be back sooner than y'all think." Shiesty might get out after just serving 3.5 years if he stays out the way and doesn't cause any issues in jail. And with Gucci backing him up, he could jump right back in the game and start popping again. Lil Reese is a legend in the Chicago drill scene and was featured on Chief Keef's mainstream hit, Don't Like, back in 2012. He's been dropping music for over a decade, and he's tight with Lil Durk too. But Reese never really left the streets behind, and in May, he got hit with assault charges in Texas. He was booked in Harris County Jail on a charge of aggravated assault of a family member and denied bond. But then 5 days later, he got booked again on the same charge, and his bond was set at $60K. As of today, Reese ain't paid the bond and is still sitting in jail. It's not clear how everything went down, but rumors say he beat up one of his family members because they were stealing from him. That hasn't been confirmed yet though, and Reese hasn't said anything about the case. The cold part about the situation is that none of Reese's homies have bailed him out, but maybe there's more going on behind the scenes that nobody knows about. So y'all stay posted for updates, because more details could come out any day. Casanova is a New York rapper known for tracks like 2 AM, Whoa, and Down. He had a wild come up in Brooklyn, and back in the day, he even linked up with A$AP Rocky on Rikers Island. Fans thought he left the streets behind after he started buzzing in the rap game. But in December 2020, he got hit with a RICO charge for allegedly being a high-ranked member of the untouchable Gorilla Stone Nation gang. 17 other alleged members got booked too, and the U.S. attorney said, as alleged in the indictment, members of Gorilla Stone committed terrible acts of violence, trafficked in narcotics, and even engaged in brazen fraud by exploiting benefits programs meant to provide assistance in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Back in May, Casanova pleaded guilty to his racketeering and drug charges, and now he's facing up to 60 years in prison. He's scheduled for sentencing on December 6th, and his lawyer plans on getting him out as soon as possible. He said, "We will be submitting comprehensive sentencing memoranda in which we will endeavor to demonstrate to the court that Mr. Senior is a good man, a good father, and husband, and someone the court can feel confident will not reoffend." Hopefully, the judge takes it easy and doesn't throw the book at Casanova. He's facing a minimum of 5 years in prison, and if he keeps his head down and stays out of trouble, he could be out even sooner. But if the judge decides to make an example out of him, Cass might spend the rest of his life behind bars.